one point to like even be a character of being in. Now the whole thing is inclusion. Is that right? They were trying to sell yesterday, and he come out in the rainbow looking stuff on the trunks and stuff, and saying that everyone can be in the club. Everyone. I'm thinking. I mean, listen, it is a great idea, and I'm all for that. Of course, I am. But Finn Balor and the Balor Club just seems a bit of a weird thing to tag it on. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, the Bullet Club must be looking at this thinking, what the hell? What's this got to do with it? The day they ever come together, God knows what they'll come up with. But, I do wish that Finn Balor would be the demon character, at least for WrestleMania. But it wasn't to be. I mean, it wasn't a shocking thing. But then when you see that they're going in this other direction with him, I'm getting kind of worried. For him, but let's talk about the match, Matt. What did you make of it? Because it had quite a bit of high expectation, I think, for an Intercontinental match. What did you make of the triple threat match and being the opener?
Well, yeah, I think it's a good call to make it the opener. I was kind of surprised that it was, but then thinking back on it, these are three guys that are going to start us off the right way and get fans invested from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad that they did that. But the match itself, I was thoroughly enjoying it, and I knew I would because, like we've been saying, like they've been having consistent matches for so long now, those three guys.
Yep.
And I feel like even The Miz in this match, he turned his game up to an extra level. I don't know whether that's something to do with his character change, but it just fits for him,
Yeah.
like him now wrestling a clean style, and he can do it. And I think the fans like that style from him better even. So, yeah, I did enjoy the match. I thought it was like one of the better ones of the night even.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff they were doing in the match was really good. Like the whole suplex things off the top rope. I mean, off the turnbuckle and stuff like that. I thought was excellently done, and it was very fast paced. I mean, literally, I think these three had already decided before they went out that they were going to do that style, and it was nice. I think that everybody got a fair share of their bit in, if you will, to the whole thing. I think I was surprised with the result of the match, if I'm being honest, that they did put it on Seth Rollins. I was thinking that the Miz would retain, but also if it wasn't the Miz, it would definitely be Finn Balor, but it wasn't. And obviously Seth Rollins, the new Intercontinental Champion, Matt. I mean, you can perceive this in different ways. Again, he could, if there's nothing going on for this guy, then it's better than nothing, isn't it, Matt? But at the same time, it is still a go back. I mean, I'm guessing Dean Ambrose is in the same position as well when he gets back. Former champions that just couldn't. People will say couldn't hack being at the top flight. Just didn't do it. And in fact, all three guys in a weird way have all been champions, haven't they? So even though Finn's was only like for what a night or whatever, but they've all been to the top. And so maybe there comes a point where you've got to make the most of the opportunity, and I think with Seth Rollins he needed something because I think his character's a bit bland. I think as a babyface I found it really hard to get into him. I think his wrestling's good, but it's hard to gravitate towards his character. Obviously if you see the newly inducted JJ in the Warrior Award, he's still high up on him for leaving the Shield in the first place, and I still don't think they've explained that thoroughly enough to people. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If a kid is saying those kind of questions, then how on earth did WWE think that people don't remember? And when you've got kids saying it, it is unbelievable. Like the WWE fans haven't got that kind of short attention span, so they really need to do better on things like that, the inconsistencies. For that whole thing, Matt, what did you make of the outcome and the actual ending of the match? I thought it was really, really good ending the way they did it, and the curb stomp got used as well, which I thought was cool for a change at WrestleMania. It was used at the right time, which is good. What did you make of the outcome and the result of it, man? What do you think it'll mean for Seth?
They hashed out some great spots in that match, with the coup de grace, like from the pin as well, and like you said, the curb stomp and then into another curb stomp. That was great, kind of And I was surprised as well that Steph was picked to be the champ at the end of it. But I can see where they're going with that now, because I kind of think that Steph did carry himself as a great champion. And if we're not going to see much of the Universal title, he is a great choice to carry the Intercontinental title and defend that on a consistent basis and put on some great matches at the same time of doing it. But the actual match itself, I did, like I said, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give that a 4 stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4 stars for me. That's what I've written down here. I think this was again, I'm not a huge Triple Threat fan, but this was excellent. Great opener, and I guess it's odd to think last time we were in New Orleans, Matt, Seth Rollins was at the very end of the show. He cashed in his Money in the Bank and walked out the WWE champion that night. And here we are. He's opened it this night, but he's won the Intercontinental. So it's crazy how much can happen in 4 years, Matt. Where you think back then, where you think guys should actually be, doesn't always work out like that, does it? At all. In all those times. So yeah, I quite liked it. Again, 4 stars for me. Match. It went 15 minutes 32 seconds, so got a really decent length for time as well, which was good. And I think the fan reaction to this was really off the chart. Like, this was I think fans were really up for this and getting all into it. So very, very good start. And then we literally move on to the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which I was kind of surprised it was on that early, but then not surprised, because I thought, okay, they may do this through the night. I actually thought this was going to be the sort of pace, but then it didn't work out like that towards like the middle of it. But I thought maybe they'll do like a smaller sort of title match and then a big one, and kind of keep going that way all the way through the card. But there was a part where it came where that just stopped, and but we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, they put this match on first. I mean, was you surprised that both women's matches that this was the first one, Matt? But then, or was you not?
Yeah, no, I was totally surprised by this. I thought this was going to be in a much more kind of prestigious slot. I would have even gone as far to say that it might have been the second to last match on, because I was thinking it was going to be that big of a deal. Certainly a match that if there was a longer build to, like say if it was held off until next year, it could have even main evented.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that next year we might have a main event for a women's match, which could be very interesting considering the direction that they went with this.
Yeah. Well, let me just throw this one out. The entrance for Charlotte, I really, really liked it. I thought it was one of the best ones. I mean, there were some great entrances last night, but Charlotte's was really up there for me. I loved the whole, the fact they had the original music of Flair, and what was fascinating about that, Matt, is the fact that she was one of the female performers that come out with Triple H all them years ago, when she come out with his his King character, his Skull King character, and she was, and then this time she's the Queen, and I thought that was cool, and the Centurions around her and all the rest of it. I thought that was quite a decent entrance, suited her, and just looked. I mean, that's the thing about her. Much like her dad, she just carries herself very, very well, and it's very believable that she backs up what she says, and you need that from. There's many wrestlers that are really good, but they just don't have that confidence, and she really does ooze that confidence. She carries herself really well, so I really, really liked the entrance. Also, I'll make a mention as well that I actually enjoyed the promo video, and I was really happy that they included a lot of Charlotte's background in the NXT and even Oscar in NXT. I was like, it's about time they've actually made mention of their roles in NXT. Like, stop pretending they never happened. So I was quite happy about that. Of course, Oscar, who won this year's Royal Rumble, the first ever. Of course, how many times we're gonna say that? But the first ever Women's Royal Rumble winner, Oscar, who goes in. She went into this, and I think people, as we said on the preview, we were expecting, I think a good match, but I've got to say, I thought this was far better than I thought it would be, because I was a little bit worried about the chemistry, because Oscar, for as good as she is and as good as Charlotte is, the styles I thought could clash, but I thought they'd done an excellent job of really working well together. And man, there was some harsh stuff in this match, Matt. I mean, I felt actually bad for Charlotte. I was like, Jesus Christ, she was getting a real whooping from Oscar. I thought Oscar came across really, really well in this. What did you make of the match, Matt? And before we get to the result, just the match itself, was it what you expected? Was you a little bit downplay, or was it good enough for you?
Yeah, no, I thought this was a great match. And it definitely was, like you said, it was kind of a strong style kind of match coming into this. And I think even Charlotte did a great job of innovating her offense. She did that Spanish fly, and I thought that was pretty amazing from her. That she's such a great athlete that she can pull off any move really requested of her. So, it's great to see that kind of thing. And I feel like, even the way they were both selling, they were selling so good, especially Charlotte. You could tell that this match was taking a toll on her. I guess I did enjoy it. It's just the ending, that kind of threw me a little bit. I was like, okay, so a tap out kind of loss. I was more expecting you can keep her shoulders down on the mat for 3 seconds, but that's just voluntarily giving up your streak. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people were shut. Now, obviously, on my preview, I did say Charlotte, but that in my head, I just had this feeling that I just sensed that Charlotte is very much WWE's forefront. I mean, I think it's one of those things. I think it's this match, Matt. I mean, it was almost like Oscar was at the right place, as Hulk Hogan said that time in his famous promo with Vince McMahon, the one he cocked up big time. But she was at the right place, but the right person, but the wrong time. Because I just feel like if this match could have maybe happened next year, maybe we could have built to that. And knowing that this was going to be the case, I think if I was WWE creatively, I would have, knowing if they wanted to put Charlotte over, or they wanted Charlotte not to lose, then I would have had Oscar cash in against the Raw's champion and keep this match for another time, just to keep the streak going longer. But, streaks end in New Orleans, it seems, Matt. I mean, another familiar thing happened, just like WrestleMania 30 with the Undertaker's streak. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the second match on. This is what made me think. I think it's because of the timing of the match as well. I was thinking they wouldn't have a shock this early on, but they did. They really went with it. And, like you say, Matt, there was some great selling from both of them. I love the fact that Charlotte was, her elbow. I think her elbow genuinely was hurting her at the end. She had a little blood mark on one side of it, but they were saying it was her arm. She was trying to sell the arm, but I think her elbow was quite hurting her as well. But, I thought imagery, I thought the one arm figure four that she done at the end was quite cool. But again, I was shocked when I saw Oscar tapping. I really was. I was like, okay, that's that then. After all that, to talk about Oscar, I don't know what this is. Do you think this is damaging for her, Matt, or do you think she bounces back from this and this just adds to her depth more as a character? Or are you a little bit in fear that she may just become lost out of all this? I mean, she shouldn't get lost because she's an amazing performer. But let's face it, so is Sasha Banks and Bayley. But look where they are. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think this could be a little bit damaging to her. I think a huge part of her character since she's been in WWE has been about this undefeated streak. So now that that's gone, I wouldn't be too surprised if WWE start making these losses come thick and fast now. Because she's dominated everyone for so long. They might want to go a different direction now and just show that she can be beaten. But they've already done that. But it was completely the opposite way to the way I thought it was all going to go down. I thought that she would barely be able to stand. If she was put in that figure four and lost, I thought she would have not been able to walk out, and then they could have had her off TV for a little while and then gone with whatever direction they wanted with Charlotte and the other women's champ on the other show, and then just reintroduced her at another time. But I guess they're just going to say that she's back on Raw and mixing it up, and have to climb the mountain again from the bottom.
The most diabolical thing I thought about the match was the aftermath of it when Oscar admits that Charlotte was ready for Oscar. I was like, and then they hug. And then, what I didn't like about it is the fact she was just standing there smiling. And I was like, I don't know if she should be smiling after that. Like she's smiling in the ring.